tyranny!
They call themselves the Resistance.
The idea is that it's a creep towards chipping us and controlling us, and this has been an agenda of possibly the Rockefellers in particular, Gates, the swamp, the deep state.
They're here, some of them, to protest against the government's powers to reimpose lockdown restrictions by decree. Some, of course, believe the pandemic is a hoax. There are those as well who see evil intent in the rollout of 5G technology. But it's the ones who are here to protest against a possible COVID-19 vaccine, both traditional anti-vaxxers and those influenced by what they see and read online, that have the scientific community particularly worried.
We're getting threats, fear, blackmail. They're doing everything they can to force us to say, OK, just give me the injection.
It's extremely dangerous. We often forget that up until 100 years ago, incredibly large numbers of children were dying from infectious diseases, and one by one, from polio and measles and so on, we have managed to largely eliminate those diseases from widespread transmission, and that's had a huge impact. The only way that we are going to control the spread of this disease is by having an effective vaccine and having sufficient uptake of the vaccine to prevent it being spread from person to person.
The Resistance is itself meeting resistance in the form of online groups trying to stop the spread of what they say is false information.
Clearly what we see here, this is a website, Waking Times, it's one of the key kind of disseminators of false information about corona. And here are adverts. They've monetized the whole thing, have they?
Yeah. So what we do, we contact these brands that are allowing the sites to keep running from Google Ad Money, and we ask them to blacklist the site and remove these ads to stop funding these sites.
Adam, which isn't his real name, didn't want to be identified because of abuse he's received online.
How many people do you reckon are going to see a headline like that and be influenced by what's in here?
Thousands, most likely. Yeah, a lot of people will be looking for answers where they can't find any, and if a site like this is trying to suggest that the government is using the virus as a means to control, or the fear surrounding the virus as a means to control, a lot of people may latch on to that.
For volunteers like Adam and dozens of others, it's a race against time and the virus, while the numbers of those persuaded for all sorts of reasons to refuse a vaccine, possibly undermining efforts to end the pandemic, continue to grow. Jonah, Al Jazeera, London.